pretty old. She's about 15 years old. That's getting up there for a house cat. Luna, we're going to look at some baby pictures of you. Want to see yourself as a little kitten? Okay, baby, another time. Here's Luna when she was about 6 weeks old, when we got her from a shelter and brought her home. And here she is a little bit older, playing with some yarn. And there she is, an older cat. We kind of call that a kitten. I don't think that's a real name for it, but she's not a kitten anymore, but she's certainly not a cat. You've seen her as a full-grown cat. So why are we looking at pictures of Luna when she was younger? Because today in science, we're going to be talking about the life cycle of an insect. Now, when Luna was really, really little, she was just a kitten when she came from her mom. Then as she got older, what I told you we called a kitten, halfway between a kitten and a cat, she was a bit bigger. And then she became an adult cat like she is now. You can see when she's a kitten, she looks pretty much the same way as she did when she became an adult. People are like that too. Babies look like small adults. But some insects look very, very different when they come out of an egg than they will when they're an adult. So let's take a look at different life cycles of insects. Here is a life cycle of a cricket or a grasshopper. Now, as we know, all insects start from eggs. And after about 2 weeks, the eggs hatch and they hatch into a nymph. And then after 4 to 7 weeks, they become adults. But look at the nymph and look at the adult. How much alike they look. The color's a little different, but the size is different, but the shape, they look almost exactly the same. A lot like people do. But of course, we don't hatch from eggs. So you have the egg, nymph, adult life cycle for some insects. Here is a more common life cycle for insects. This is a ladybug. Starts out with the egg. The eggs hatch into larvae. And the larva goes through a resting stage called the pupa. And then the pupa turns into an adult. This is the adult ladybug. So this is 4 stages: eggs, larva, pupa, adult. This is called a metamorphosis, which basically means you don't look anything like the adult is when you first hatched. Now we're going to read a book about the 3-stage life cycle. This is by Ellen Lawrence. It's called A Dragonfly's Life. And it's a life cycle because it keeps going on and going on and going on. The egg becomes the nymph, becomes the adult, and the adult lays eggs, and they turn into nymphs, which turn into adults, which lay eggs, which turn into nymphs, which become adults over and over and over and over again, just like a never-ending circle. Watching dragonflies. Today I watched dragonflies at the lake near my grandpa's house. Dragonflies are colorful flying insects with 4 wings. In the spring, the dragonflies are mating. That means they're getting ready to have babies. There are about 5,500 different kinds of dragonflies in the world. Their bodies can be bright colors such as emerald green, ruby red, or shiny blue. And you can see the different parts of the insect's body: the head, the thorax, the abdomen, and you can see the 6 legs and wings. Dragonfly eggs. Grandpa says that some kinds of female dragonflies lay their eggs in water. Others lay their eggs on plants near lakes and ponds. Today I saw a female dragonfly laying her eggs at the lake. She held onto the leaf of a water plant. Then she dipped the tip of her body into the water and let the eggs come out. Here's a picture of that. A female dragonfly lays hundreds of eggs at a time. Then she flies away. She does not take care of the eggs or her young. Time to hatch. Grandpa says that dragonfly eggs usually hatch in 1 to 3 weeks. The baby dragonflies are called nymphs. There's that word that we saw on the life cycle picture. The nymphs must live in water because, unlike adult dragonflies, nymphs can only breathe underwater. They breathe using body parts called gills. Here's some dragonfly eggs and a picture of a just hatched nymph. Some nymphs hatch from eggs that are laid on plants near ponds or lakes. These nymphs must quickly crawl into the nearest water so they can breathe. All about nymphs. Today we spotted a small young dragonfly nymph in the lake. It had 6 legs like an adult dragonfly, but no wings. The nymph also had a hard covering called an exoskeleton. As the insect grows, its exoskeleton gets too small. So the nymph breaks out of it, and that's a new, bigger one underneath. That's called molting. Then the insect's body grows some more. Here's the nymph. There's its eye. It's covered with an exoskeleton. A nymph may molt up to 17 times before it becomes an adult dragonfly. So it has to get rid of that old exoskeleton while it's building a new one. A growing nymph. This afternoon we saw a large brown dragonfly nymph in the lake. Grandpa said this nymph was probably 1 or 2 years old. It had a long body and it had grown 4 small wings on its back. 4 small wing cases on its back. Its wings are growing inside these cases. Soon the nymph will leave the water to become an adult dragonfly. So here's a 2-year-old nymph. This is the wing case that's surrounding the wings. You can see it has a long body and, of course, the 6 legs. Why do you think it's brown? Brownish green. Where does it live? In the water, so that helps it hide from predators. It's kind of a camouflage. A nymph goes hunting. Wow, this morning I saw the large brown nymph catch a baby frog called a tadpole. The nymph's color makes it hard to see among the water plants. The animals it hunts don't know it's there. As the tadpole swims by, the nymph's long grabbing mouthpart shoots out and catches it. The little tadpole didn't stand a chance. What do you think about that, Jane? And there's a picture of the nymph grabbing the tadpole. And the other young insects like shrimps, worms, water snails, and small fish. An amazing day. Today we saw the dragonfly nymph leave the water and climb up a plant. Inside its exoskeleton, the nymph had changed into an adult dragonfly. Its body had become much longer and it had grown 4 wings. As the insect clung to the plant, its head burst from its brown exoskeleton. Then it pulled its body out. After an hour, the dragonfly used its new wings to fly away. So you see there's the nymph exoskeleton, but the head is pushing out. So this is like an old case it doesn't need anymore. It just pushes out of it because it's got a new body underneath. And now the dragonfly is sitting on top of the nymph exoskeleton, which it's not going to use anymore. It sheds its skin. It gets rid of the body that it's outgrown. It grows a new one inside, and when it's done, it pushes out of the old body. That's amazing. A dragonfly goes hunting. A dragonfly was hunting close to the lake this morning. Dragonflies eat insects such as flies, moths, mosquitoes, and flying ants. Their huge eyes are able to quickly see the movement of another flying insect. Their wings help them fly fast so they can catch up to their victims. Then they grab their meals with their legs. There is a picture of a dragonfly, big insect, hunting a little mosquito. A dragonfly's life. It's been 2 months since I saw the nymph become a beautiful dragonfly. Grandpa says the adult part of a dragonfly's life is very short. It may live for only about 6 to 8 weeks. In that time, though, the dragonflies will have mated, which is great news. It means there will be more colorful dragonflies to watch at the lake in the future. There's a flying one, and they can fly more than 30 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour is about as fast as a car is allowed to drive when you're driving through the city. So if you're riding in your car in the city, that dragonfly could keep up with you. So for tomorrow, I'd like you to draw in your journal the life cycle of an insect that goes through these 3 life stages. Just like I showed you at the beginning, the grasshopper. We also read about a dragonfly that goes through the same life stages. And I want you to draw it like a life cycle. I want to see that circle. I want to see the names of, well, the name of the insect, but also the name of the different stages, the egg, the nymph, and the adult. This type of life cycle is called incomplete metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is when the insect's body goes through tremendous changes. Incomplete means not so many changes. So pick an insect that goes through incomplete metamorphosis. We have the cricket, the grasshopper, we saw the dragonfly. Cockroaches also do incomplete metamorphosis. Most insects you're familiar with go through complete metamorphosis, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. So today I want you just to focus on incomplete metamorphosis, like a cricket, a grasshopper, the dragonfly in the book, or a cockroach, if you want to look that up. Extra points for doing a cockroach because we haven't looked at those pictures yet. So take a picture of this when you're done and put it in your portfolio, please. See you tomorrow.